Mike Gonzalez, a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation, is with us. Mike, at the UN this week, we heard some Latin American leaders hailing this better relations between the U.S. and Cuba. One from Ecuador even saying he hopes that Guantanamo Bay will be returned to Cuba. As a guy who grew up in Cuba, you were there till you were 12. What's it like watching this going on?
Well, I will answer as an American. My interest is American national interest, and it's really troubling to see our enemies, Correa Morales, praising us at the UN. When your enemies are praising you and your allies are concerned, and believe me, I meet with a lot of officials from allied countries that are very concerned about U.S. foreign policy, we have a problem.
So the U.S. could possibly abstain on a crucial vote on this embargo. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
People at the UN say they don't remember a state, a nation ever abstaining from a vote against itself. And if it is indeed true that the Obama administration will order its ambassador to abstain on the vote against the embargo because he is so petty as to want to castigate Congress at a world forum, this will be yet a new low.
Kind of embarrassing for the United States. If the embargo is lifted, would the Cuban people benefit, in your opinion?
No, the Cuban people will not benefit. Any American company that has business in Cuba will not be able to hire its own workers, will not be able to pay its own workers. Indeed, the Cuban government, I think, gets 91 cents out of every dollar. The Cuban worker gets 9 cents, I think, or 10 cents on every dollar in salary. And what we'll be doing is we'll be helping the Castro family. Castro's son-in-law is in charge of Gaesa, which is the holding company, one of the largest holding companies in Latin America, which owns about 80–90% of the Cuban economy. Every time you play golf, every time you stay in a hotel, every time you take a plane in Cuba, you're putting money into the military. And why would you want to play golf in a police state, for heaven's sakes?
Is there any possibility that you could be wrong on this stuff and that this police state might actually change?
You know, I covered China for many years. I lived in Hong Kong for 8 years. I first went to China in 1988, not 10 years after Deng Xiaoping first put in his reforms. I believed that this was going to happen. I believed that economic reform was going to lead to political reform. It's been 40 years and it hasn't happened.
So that's kind of formed your opinion on this one too.
Absolutely.
Especially as a Cuban American. Mike Gonzalez, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.